Okay, hopefully y'all don't wobble too much. I have y'all like rested up here. But so I got all my coops yesterday winterized and covered up with either greenhouse plastic or old roofing tin, just to get them protected out of the wind. The wind picked up today. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. But the wind picked up today a lot. And so I got to get them protected because when the temperatures drop tomorrow and it's in the 30s and blowing 16 miles an hour, that's what gets chickens. That's where your chickens struggle, is in with that wind and the cold. So they can tolerate cold pretty well. It's that wind because it blows up into those feathers and they can't retain their heat. So that's why I like to get them protected with the wind. Greenhouse plastic works great. If you have smaller coops, so my coop right here that I'm about to wrap up, you know what works better than greenhouse plastic? And sometimes you can find a little bit cheaper shower curtains. They're clear. You can get the clear ones. You can get the thick, heavy duty ones. They hold up to staples if you have to staple them in pieces of wood, which is what I'm doing in this one. And it works great. And you can just throw it away at the end of the year if you want to, because it's not that expensive. Where when you buy a greenhouse plastic and you buy the big thick rolls like I did, you're going to spend quite a bit of money on that. So that's what I use. It's easy to get your hands on. You can quickly get to it and it works great when you need it. So I'm going to get that put up here. I'm going to leave y'all rolling so y'all can see the chaos that's about to ensue, because it is, like I said, windy and it's going to get interesting. I might fly away. Who knows? But let's get started. doing this is you do still want to make sure they do have airflow. So you don't want to completely close them off, especially in these smaller coops. It can get really stuffy real easy. So like I have this gap up here. I'm not going to close this in on the run part. Now on the coop part over here, like where their nesting boxes and where they roost at night, I am going to cover up most of this part. There's a bunch of holes. This is some old plywood that we used, and there's holes in it, so they will still have airflow. But I don't want the air because it's such a small box. I want them to be able to warm that space up at night. I will close, like put plastic up here so the air can't blow into here. But for the run part, I'm going to leave this open. And I'm probably, because they're against the other coop, one of our big runs on the other side and there's plastic there, I probably won't put any plastic up high. I'll probably just keep it down low, just to keep the shade off it or the wind off of it, so that there's more airflow on that side too. But you don't want to stuff them up too much, or then you're going to be at risk of them having respiratory infections, and getting sick and all kinds of other stuff. So you definitely want to keep some airflow in your line, especially the smaller ones. The bigger ones you could probably close up a little more if you didn't have as many chickens. Like the run over is bigger. I've closed, almost wrapped it completely before, and it's worked fine. It's your smaller ones that you don't want to do that to, for sure. All right, so we got this mostly done. I do have one strip on the other side. I've got a whole nother one of these that I'm going to use, but I need to go cover up my big coop. That's the next one right here, the big white coop. It's got some ventilation areas that I need to cover up. So I'm going to cover those up, and then I'm going to come back to this coop with whatever's left and then get it secured a little better. What I like about using clear over like a white or even black, like a black tarp or something like that, is it allows the sunlight to come in and allows them to warm up inside the runs. And it helps out a lot. It also gives them the light. They still need light to lay eggs. So this time of year, if you've got chickens and they've stopped laying as much, it's because of our light. We don't have near the daylight that we do. And so they really need about 15 to 18 hours of daylight to be heavy layers or produce a lot of eggs, and we just don't have that this time of year. And if I completely close them off to no light, then I would get even less eggs than I do now. I'm getting for the amount of chickens I get about 5 eggs a day. I have about 30 hens, so that's really not a lot. Now some of those are older hens that don't lay anymore, but from my laying flocks, or from everybody that could be laying, I have about 25 hens. And again, I'm only getting about 5 eggs a day. So we want that light to still penetrate through and get into our coops so that they are getting that sunlight, so they are going to lay the eggs that we are getting, because I don't supplement. I let nature take its course and let the light that they get be it. I'm not going to give them any extra light. I just don't like to do that. One, I don't have power out in the back of my yard, and so I'd have to put power out here. And two, we're kind of just letting nature do its thing. So if you have any questions about getting your coops winterized, another thing that's really good to use for like the doors and windows, and like what I'll probably use for this space up here, is I like to keep feed bags. So the plasticky feed bags, not the paper ones. And then I also, we use pine shavings a lot for our inside of our bedding and stuff like that, and I keep the pine shaving bags. Those plastic bags work really great. Again, we're not trying to insulate anything, we're just trying to keep the wind out, and that the plastic, it works really well. So again, if you have any questions, let me know.